know if it's just me, but recently my Instagram feed has been convinced that I'm a foodie, pregnant, mother of 3 who was also simultaneously 12 years old, transgender, and destined for sex work. Of all of those listed attributes, only one of them is actually concerning to me. When combined with the fact that Meta has me listed as a teenage girl in their automated ad assumptions, it's extremely concerning how many ads for porn platforms have been fed into my algorithm recently, all of them disguised as a fun hobby or a game. I'm going to assume that the vast majority of you are extremely confused by this opening statement. Porn isn't allowed on Instagram, and you personally have never been fed an advertisement for sex work, right? Unfortunately, whether you're a woman like myself or even a grown-ass man in the middle of Antarctica, you probably have seen these ads. You just might not have noticed what they're actually promoting. I'm going to expose myself a little bit here, but as somebody who has been very active in cosplay and alternative modeling spaces since the early 2010s, I have grown up extremely aware of the fetishization and sexual monetization of content creators since the very day I created my Instagram account. I think many people can unfortunately relate to this, but even before I was of legal age, I was well versed in the kinds of weird and unusual requests that men might pose in your DMs as an innocent game. A video of you eating food? Sure, he's offering $80 and you're just enjoying a burger. A clip of you poofing out your dress like you're a princess? Anything for $20. An envelope full of your toenail clippings? Weird, but sure. It's very easy to disconnect from these acts as an adult when you're offered money in exchange. And while an unknowing minor might just see it as a fun challenge, most of us over the age of 18 are aware that it is fetish content and that the recipient will be using it for their own pleasure. I hope to God that we are all aware that this, by definition, is sex work. We all have a base understanding in our brains of what that means and what it entails. We all have experiences and education as adults that allow us to contextualize these exchanges and make an informed decision of whether we feel safe and comfortable providing that material for somebody else's gooding purposes and distribution. The same way an OnlyFans creator must understand and consent to their usage policies for their content before selling on the platform. The ads that I have beef with today are lacking even a single ounce of that context or awareness, while intentionally targeting the audiences that need it the most. Picture this, you're a 14, maybe 17-year-old girl saving up money for the new Nintendo Switch. You're scrolling TikTok and come across a video such as this one.
Okay, this is how you find guys to buy you stuff on Discord. Part 4. Okay, so a lot of people are asking me, how do you be an e-kitten? Basically, you just need a cute PFP, cute bios, cute intro, ask to DMs. So basically then you want to post it in the servers, which I will also send servers in here, like that work for me and other successful e-kittens. Basically this channel is only for e-kittens, and basically we give you advice or you ask us questions and we try and answer. Someone asked me what do e-boys look for in girls, and honestly I don't really know. I think like if you're just friendly with them and like treat them nicely, I think they'll be fine. And someone was asking where do you find the rich e-boys. I'm making a list with like other e-girls for like servers that we've actually found rich guys in, and we're gonna send it in the like server, like a bunch of servers that we found rich guys in. So yeah, e-kitten masterclass. And some people are asking me how do you do the e-kitten voice, and honestly, just pitch your voice a little bit higher than usual. That's honestly it. So you actually want to make your profile as cute as you can, which is why I always recommend getting nitro first. Also, you don't have to buy the nitro yourself. No, get e-boys to buy it for you. But yeah, get nitro first to make your profile like a lot cuter. Like, and you can see you really want to have like a vibe that you're going for. Like, it cannot be messy. Like, you know, you have to have like a certain aesthetic. Also giving tips on how to be more e-kitteny, like you're selling an idea of yourself. That's why like all these things matter. Even if you don't show your face, like especially if you don't show your face actually. And I won't lie, like showing your face definitely does get the DMs coming in faster. However, like I can assure you 100%, even without showing your face, DMs will still come in. Like I've still gotten a lot of things before I decide to show my face. And I will say it's not about finding rich guys, it's rich guys finding you. So I just like look in here and kind of like pick who I want to DM. Literally, like I just like pick and choose. Same thing with friend requests. And yeah, that's basically it. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
At this point, everyone and their mom is aware of the stereotype of e-kittens online, interacting with men for money and getting nitro or skins and games gifted to them. There has always been a slightly sexual undertone to this, often intertwined with jokes about selling feet pictures or participating in certain role plays with men to achieve that financial result. But when you're faced with a seemingly normal teenage girl on a viral TikTok promoting a Discord server full of rich boys and experienced e-kittens to teach you their ways without ever even showing your face, that sounds like a dream. The comments are flooded with girls who are begging for the link, with creators often giving it to everyone. And I mean everyone, including extremely underage kids. Sometimes they're even liking comments from 17-year-olds bragging about their e-kitten money. So it must be safe work, right? No freaky business? I've seen many of these kinds of videos and eventually decided to actually join one of them out of curiosity. Upon joining this specific server, I was prompted to choose an age between 13 and 18 plus. I sat at the screen for a solid 5 minutes with increasing concern. What do you mean 13 and 18 plus? Once my age was selected and a few other roles, I was then told that the server was 16 plus. This is not much better and is extremely contradictory, but okay. After exploring the server for a few minutes, users are pretty quickly funneled into the sister server, which contains the previously mentioned rich guys. Although the age system in this server was more simplistic. It was either 18 plus or under 18. It still very clearly allowed minors to join and participate in the activities, with a majority of the users in this server having the underage role as well as she/her selected. The main drawer of this server appeared to be general chatting with a separate channel for advertising your age and gender with a short introduction. Think Omegle or Kick. You're saying, I'm female, 18, hit me up, or I'm 20, male, whatever. While many of these introductions were seemingly innocent, and a few of them were thankfully including age limits, there was a concerning amount of grown men advertising with weird girls DM me or anyone DM me. I've mentioned this previously in other videos, but as a Discord server owner myself, I genuinely would never be able to sleep at night if I knew that I had created a space in which underage users were able to, or even encouraged to, message older users in a secondary private space without any moderators present. It's perfectly fine for them to interact safely and friendly in a general public chat, but the minute an adult is advertising and asking for direct messages from anyone in a server where more than half of the users are underage girls, and all of the users seemingly joined this server with the intention of seeking a monetary exchange, what the fuck do you think is going to happen in these direct messages? Overall, I don't have any problem with sex work whatsoever, but it does not have a place on TikTok. It does not have a place on Instagram. It does not have a place where children can see it. And it absolutely does not have a place on Discords that are allowing people to select their age as 13, but then trying to cover their ass by saying, oh, you actually have to be 16. 16 is still not a legal adult. And even though you're beating around the bush, covering things up, and saying that there is no sex work going on here, how do you know? Are you in the DMs of these grown-ass men asking anybody to message them? No. But are you allowing them to promote that? And allowing them to be in a group of thousands of underage girls who might want to message them for money? Absolutely. Are you at fault for that? Abso-fucking-lutely. Are you a groomer? I might get hate for saying this, but yes, you are intentionally creating spaces where grooming can happen. You are closing your eyes when you see people begging to start a grooming exchange. You are, by proxy, even potentially directly, I wouldn't put it past them, you are a groomer. As for the women who are making these ads, I have no way of guaranteeing whether they made the Discord, whether they are a moderator of the Discord, what connection they have to the Discord as a whole. They could be victims themselves. But if you are a grown-ass adult and you are sharing this online, I don't care how much you were paid. If you are posting TikToks, if I woke up tomorrow and decided to post a TikTok promoting this Discord server, I would fully accept and understand if the police showed up at my door and asked me what the fuck I was doing. Because this is grooming. Before you continue, let me be clear. In no way, shape, or form am I blaming the girls that are seeking out these servers and interacting with them. Hell, they were purpose-built to attract and welcome these girls with open arms. I myself was participating in similar exchanges when I was a minor, and I know that many of you watching were as well. If I see even a single comment below this video saying that it's just a normal occurrence or a natural result of using Discord as a teenager, I will throw a TNT block at your house, because this is not an excuse. Just because you personally were not hurt or traumatized by interactions like this online does not mean that it should be left to continue unmonitored for many generations to come. With that being said, this discovery lit up a light bulb in my brain and reminded me of previous ads that had also been plaguing my For You page and attracting minors in a similar way, but these ones were somehow even more dangerous. Earlier, I mentioned feet pictures, eating videos, things that aren't exactly pornographic in nature but are intentionally sold for not safe for work purposes. We all know that there are platforms for this stuff. But did you know that there are platforms promoting this to literal children to profit off of their failure to sell anything at all? Almost weekly, I am fed an unlabeled advertisement of a woman doing something casual, like cutting her hair or licking a lollipop, only to then place the remains of this action into a plastic baggie and imply that they made hundreds or even thousands of dollars selling it to a stranger online. Selling it on a platform called Weird Wealth. These videos, again, ads that are never labeled as an advertisement and instead they're just posted as if they're a normal video, focus extremely hard on the fake point that it wasn't even sexual or it was just so casual that she could just forget about it afterwards and buy a new iPhone with the earnings, that anybody could do it. It was so easy and it was completely anonymous, which, as you've probably already assumed, is bullshit. This same narrative has been shared in ads since I was barely even old enough to read. Back in the day, it was mostly feet seller websites, which I personally know multiple victims of. Once women are lured into these websites, they're often prompted to pay a subscription to sell and advertise on the platform. For example, for only $10 a month, you can reach thousands of willing buyers who will drop thousands of dollars on videos of you eating a burger or brushing your teeth. What a steal, right?
Before you think this is a scam, let me explain. It's completely valid to be a little bit skeptical about why you would be paying a subscription fee to be on a site like this. The subscription covers your ability to post on the site, to interact with already all of the human wallets that are on there, because it's a curated platform for them to just be on.
The user base of these websites naturally consists of hundreds of thousands of women who are looking to sell feet pictures. They are desperate for money. They are here from these advertisements. They really just want to make money from something easy, right? And then there's a handful of men who do actually want to purchase this stuff, but what makes you stand out? What makes you get chosen and make sales over the other thousands of desperate women selling their feet pictures? Nothing, really. Let's say you make $0 in the first month, or even $2 in the first month, and you have maybe 40 conversations with horny men who don't actually end up buying anything from you at all. If you do make a sale, you're extremely lucky and will likely continue paying the subscription in hopes of getting 2 more sales the next month. In the meantime, maybe one of those horny men has charged back the transaction. They've reached out on your Instagram account to be creepy, or they've sent you countless harassing DMs because you wouldn't go any further with nude content instead of just a foot picture. This is completely fine for many women who choose to be sex workers and create this content for a living. But it's obviously huge disappointment for the other thousands of girls who showed up from a TikTok ad that told them that they would be making $4,000 for a clip of their feet. It's extremely unrealistic and irresponsible to push the narrative that sex work is easy money with no strings attached, and absolutely no information or education provided on the dangers involved with that line of work. Even outside of physical safety, mental safety, avoiding exploitation, grooming, hell, potentially even rape, unfortunately, keeping yourself anonymous and safe from doxing, if you put all that aside, there is still a huge risk of financial scams in these communities and spaces. If you're just joining from TikTok and you are a desperate mother who wants to feed her kids, or you're a teenage girl looking for a quick buck, you are not within the community of sex workers who know these scams very well. They're talking to each other, they're telling you how to avoid them, there is education out there. I myself am friends with multiple sex workers, and the number one thing they complain about is the scams, the sugar daddy scams, the credit card scams, the gift card scams, you name it. They become familiar with this stuff through trial and error. They get stories from their friends who were unfortunately scammed. This type of stuff is built up through community and education, and when you are just jumping into a random Discord server that is too scared to even admit that there are sexual exchanges going on, you're not going to be aware of any of this. Even though some of it may be common sense, sex workers who have been doing this for months still fall victim to it. For example, this Reddit post is talking about feet pic scams. From somebody who is a month into selling feet pictures, they have noticed a recurring theme. Scams. I quote, young girls who enter the community looking for cash to support their rent, etc. are being increasingly targeted by people looking to make a quick buck off of the vulnerable. I read about a girl's sister on Reddit who was groomed into a $10,000 debt by falling for one of these scams. They go on to detail sugar baby scams, in which they are the most common phrases in the fetish community. A lot of these scammers look for vulnerable girls and boys looking for money to con into a fake allowance, where they will eventually groom you into sending them nudes or something in exchange for money. If you're up for selling nudes, get your money first, or at least a 50% deposit. They then explain other types of payment scams that people are very easily falling for, but I think the most important statement in this entire post is the grooming into sending nudes. People who jump into this community looking for money, if they are baited with just a little bit of money, they might do more than what they are originally intending to do. I'm going to make an extremely bold claim here, but I don't think I'm wrong at all. I truly think that these schemes can be considered trafficking. Young and naive users can and will face coercion into explicit content, exposure to predators, privacy risks, or even worse, exploitation. It is a potential gateway to trafficking or life-ruining situations because these platforms promote creators in ways that could attract dangerous attention. When you are agreeing to sell yourself on a platform or on Discord, no matter what it is, if you're interacting with a strange man that you do not know and you're doing things for money, there is a power dynamic there. There is control and there is coercion. Of course, you can always turn off your PC and walk away, but if you are struggling for money, if you have no way of paying rent that month, and you jumped into this thinking that you were just going to sell a used lollipop or some old socks, and he asks for a little bit more, you might give in. And then the next week he asks for a little bit more. You might give in. And then the platform that you're on maybe starts advertising and saying that if you start making a little bit more riskier content, you can raise your prices. You can get featured on the homepage if you just take off your shirt. It's going to get deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And before they even know it, they have essentially been coerced and trafficked into making explicit content that they did not want to do in the first place. TikTok's algorithm and ad system has already faced a lot of criticism and even lawsuits for pushing addictive features and content to kids. A lot of these ads do focus on get-rich-quick schemes or easy money schemes. They target financial vulnerability, low-income youth, and you will especially see a lot of ads recently promising flexible, no-requirements income, essentially like a pyramid scheme. Whether it's gambling, whether it's an MLM, or whether it is sex work, when you are advertising on a platform like TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, whatever, there is not really any way to target specifically 18 plus users, or specifically adult women. You can try, you can filter, and you can select certain demographics, but realistically, there is no way for the algorithm to know exactly how old a user is if they have not confirmed their age with an age verification with their ID, right? You are pushing out this ad to hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people, willingly and knowingly agreeing that a lot of them are going to be kids. And if they're not kids, they're going to be struggling mothers. They're going to be single parents. They're going to be teenagers who are kicked out of their home, people who desperately need money and will see this lacking literally any supporting information or context telling them what they're actually going to be doing. And I'm not implying that these people are stupid. I'm not implying that these women have no idea what they're getting into, but more often than not, they don't know enough about what they are getting into. They need to know safety. They need to know what this actually is, even in regards to tax and income reporting. If they do not understand that this is literally just sex work and that they need to be reporting it on their taxes, it's not a gift, it's not a fun little exchange where their friend is giving them money, it is a service provided for payment, they can literally be arrested for tax evasion. Like, there is so much information that needs to go behind an advertisement for sex work that it just can't be put out responsibly. It cannot be distributed anywhere without like a 20 or 30 minute video attached telling people what is actually going on, what this means, and what they're getting themselves into. And while TikTok does officially restrict targeting ads to users who are under 18 in many regions, for example, there's no direct age targeting for under 18s in the US, the EU, etc., they do have policies against content risking sexual and physical harm to minors. We all know damn well that this does not work. If you are under the age of 18 and you are watching this video, tell me in the comments, have you seen a weird ass ad on your TikTok or an ad that is so clearly directed at kids, but they're kind of beating around the bush with it? I personally have seen ads of people, trigger warning here, people simulating cutting their wrists, people simulating starvation, videos AI generated of animals dying, things that should not be allowed with the TikTok ad restrictions, but they get through anyway. And I feel like these ads are intentionally created to be so vague, to not tell you that this is sexual, to repeatedly, again and again, tell you it's not even weird. It was just a guy. He was so sweet. I just gave him a picture of my feet. I gave him some clippings of my hair, and then I moved on with my day, and I made so much money. You can do it too. It's intentional. Because if they told you what was actually going on, what you were getting yourself into, it would not be allowed to be posted on TikTok. And it shouldn't have been in the first place. Even without using these dedicated sexual platforms, I myself have had more than 2 men escalate at normal conversations of giving me money for attention or gifting me a skin for just a selfie into full-blown confessions of pedophilia or genuinely stalking me in real life. It is never as simple as money for nothing. And we cannot expect 16-year-old girls to comprehend that. Whether it's the previously mentioned Discord server or the Weird Wealth website that thankfully restricts minors from accessing it, I truly think my main issue with these ads is the narrative that they push. Even if the viewer doesn't decide to participate in either platform, they scroll past the ad and they are left with a lingering assumption that these kinds of exchanges are easy, fast, and non-sexual. That many women are making hundreds, if not thousands of dollars selling weird stuff, and then they forget about it, when in reality, it is sex work. It takes grueling work, extensive safety precautions, hours of daily advertisement and content creation, and it may not ever attract a buyer in the sea of sellers. It can and will follow them for life, even if they uninstall Discord. Weird Wealth and e-kittening aren't a get-rich scheme. They aren't a hobby. They are sex work. There is absolutely nothing wrong with sex work, but there is so much wrong with grooming women into sex work by lying and telling them that it's a fun hobby, knowing full well that you will be profiting from their subscriptions or Discord promo even if they fail or get hurt. And with that rant, I have been Bunny, I still am Bunny, and maybe one day we can all be bunnies. Mwah.
Bunny, bunny.